and on Sunday, the children began to fall ill. A 2-year-old was taken to the nearby Prince Charles Hospital and later to the Lady Salento Children's Hospital, where doctors diagnosed meningococcal. Now, we're not yet sure publicly what strain the children have. Another 2 siblings were also diagnosed. But from a public health perspective, this is a real worry because meningococcal is spread through coughing, sneezing, kissing, sharing food and drink. And as I say, there were 90,000 people here on Saturday night celebrating New Year's Eve.
Late yesterday, I heard about a young man, a Year 12 student at Marsland College, Matthew Wilkins, who died on Saturday. He finished his exams, on top of the world, woke up ill Saturday morning and died Saturday night. The Department of Health believes, although it's yet to be confirmed, obviously it'll need medical testing, that the death of Matthew Wilkins was meningococcal meningitis.
Meningitis is actually inflammation of the space around the brain, a layer called the meninges, and it can either be caused by viruses or can be caused by bacteria, for example something called meningococcus. Now, bacterial meningitis is a lot more serious than viral meningitis and requires urgent treatment. Sometimes the bacteria that cause meningitis may also cause blood poisoning or septicemia, and that is what gives you the characteristic rash that's associated with it. It's essential that everyone is able to spot the signs of meningitis and the rash that's associated with it, because treatment is so urgent and so important. Signs of meningitis in adults include headache, fever, neck stiffness, nausea and vomiting, and sensitivity to bright lights. It's very difficult to distinguish between bacterial and viral meningitis without doing specific tests that are done in hospital. In meningococcal septicemia or blood poisoning, you may or may not have some of the signs of meningitis, but you may also have things like fever, feeling drowsy or lethargic. Septicemia may also give you a rash that often starts as a blotchy rash but then moves on to dark red or purple patches. These can start anywhere over the body and spread quite rapidly, and characteristically they do not fade on pressure, and that's the important sign to look out for. Anybody with signs of meningitis or signs of blood poisoning needs urgent medical attention. That's purely because it can be very serious and even can result in death. Vaccination is the best tool we have in preventing meningitis, but even that cannot prevent all the different kinds.
Bacteria reproduce very simply and rapidly by doubling their contents and splitting in two. Just one bacterium, dividing every 20 minutes, could produce nearly 5,000 billion bacteria in one day.
Bacteria reproduce asexually by a process known as binary fission, and this can take place at an alarming rate. The bacteria cell itself is quite simple, so this allows the process of duplication to be very fast. The first thing it does is duplicate its DNA. The cytoplasmic content is then increased and the cytoplasmic membrane also elongates. Straight on now to cytokinesis. The cell membrane starts to pinch and the cells begin to divide. Very quickly, you end up with 2 identical daughter cells. In the meningococcal bacteria, this only takes 40 minutes. However, in some bacteria, it can be as quick as 20.
I'm Michaela. This is my son, Jeremiah. Last year, my son contracted bacterial meningitis.
I'm Chris. This is my wife, Heather, and my son, Ethan. At 7 months, Ethan contracted meningococcal disease.
It takes away your life. It takes away your limbs. It takes away your,
He lost both arms and both legs, had major facial scarring.
There's not a day that this does not affect us. There's not a day that I don't hurt for him, for me.
Despite his disabilities, he's full of life. These disabilities could have been prevented with a vaccine.
If we'd have had a vaccination, if we'd have only known, this could have all been prevented.